certain things
my
that
favorite
don't
part.
take this, or else they'll tell you, and the side effects could be. And then if you're listening,
Blood
it's like,
in your
oh
urine,
my god, yeah,
tumors in your
blood
brain.
in your urine, yeah, your head might explode.
Yeah.
And those commercials, man,
Possible arm enlargements.
they bug me. Hello, Kajang.
Hello. Hi, this is Scout
And William.
from Hypermentilating the podcast.
Oh, I feel you just burned me so bad there.
A show that follows life and change. Don't forget the and change. Through the eyes of a father and
a
a father
daughter.
and a father.
Father and a daughter.
A father and a father. Join us as we find our way together.
Yes, together.
So today we're going to do something really fun.
Are we now?
Yep. I'm going to be cosplaying as Dad. And Dad's going to be cosplaying as me. So we're going to be answering how the other person think we'd answer.
No, we're not doing that.
Yeah, we are. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm doing that.
We're not doing that, man.
I am. All right, Kajang. What's the first topic of the day? All right, Kajang. What's the first topic of the day?
Is that how you're going to talk?
Yeah.
No.
Dad. I mean, Kajang.
No, but you do 5... That's how you talk. I
Okay,
can't
go.
do that the whole thing.
Go.
No.
Fine,
But I
just
will
talk
introduce
normally.
this topic since you are bumbling and barreling around nonsensically.
All
So
right.
I will introduce the topic because I think anyhow I wrote this one out, didn't I? What would you do with 5 or 10 years to learn anything? So say, what would you want to learn if you had 5 or 10 years to learn it? So 2 different ones, or just make them one. I don't really care. So they say, you know, that thing where you have 10,000 hours to master something, right? You got to do it for 10,000 hours to become a master at something. So what I was thinking was like, well, what if somebody said to you, all right, it doesn't matter. These are the parameters. You have 5 years and to learn to master something. And what would you do? What would you want to take that time to do? Because it's quite a commitment. Most people don't think in those terms, right? They don't think that long term, like, okay, I know this is going to take a long time, but I don't care. I'm going to do it no matter what. I guess that's what it comes down to. Can you think of a thing that you'd like to master,
Yeah.
that you'd like to learn, that you don't know, that you know will be, it's going to take a commitment of time?
Yes.
All right.
Horseback riding. I've always found that really interesting when people tell me, oh yeah, I horseback ride, or I compete in horseback riding competitions. I think that's really cool. I think that's kind of a flex if you're like, yeah, I compete in horseback riding competitions. Because I've done it before. I've ridden on the back of a horse, and it's hard.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
It's definitely a skill.
Like to hang on and to not fall and to just... Especially when it runs, that's hard. So I think it would be cool to sort of master that, but I also don't know if I want to spend 5 or 10 years of my life doing that.
Yeah, and I'm also thinking of more of a skill, like learning to play the piano or something like that. Less a thing that would involve like you needing to have big piles of money. You know,
Right.
like to do horseback riding, you'd need one of the first
Yeah.
requirements would be
And a horse?
Yeah, a mad bag, because like that's a lot of money. Or sailing would be the same kind of thing, right? So I'm more thinking like a skill, that something that you would really like to know how to do.
That's a tricky question because
It's totally a tricky
there's-
question. Like something that you're going to dedicate 5 years to, or 10 years to even, to mastering.
I guess maybe.
Like, there's nothing wrong with the horseback riding, but I'm
Yeah,
thinking.
but no, still, I wouldn't want to spend 5 or 10 years of my life doing that
right?
either.
See, that's why I thought the question was
Yeah.
interesting, because it's like, okay, I wouldn't mind learning how to ride a horse. I'd do
guess-
that for a year, but then what?
Yeah, I guess if I had to master something, but that wouldn't take up all of my time, it'd probably be learning an instrument, but not something basic. It'd be like the harp, or
Yeah.
just something that would kind of be cool to do. Like if I was hosting a dinner party or something, and I'd be like, "You guys want to hear some tunes?" They're like, "Yeah, sure," expecting like
Yeah.
a guitar or a piano, and then I whipped out my harp. That's pretty cool. So I think, maybe spending an hour, 2, 3 hours a day just practicing my harp.
Yeah.
I think I would like
Is
that.
there a job that you would like to do that would take the time? It's a kind of an
Oh, yeah.
introspective
A
question,
job?
right? It's like, what, is there something you'd want to dedicate that much time to?
Well, I would probably, if it was a
hard
job,
question.
if it was a job, then easily I'd want to spend 5 to 10 years working on becoming a pediatric surgeon. For sure.
Well, that's doable.
That's what I would do. 100%.
That's 100% doable. And that would be probably like a 10-year thing from the time you finish school.
It is, or more.
Or finish high school.
Yeah.
Yeah, or more, for sure. No, I think you could do it in 10 years because you'd have to do a 4-year basic, then you'd have to do 4 years of med school, and then you could probably, you might be more, you might be right, it might take even more to be, it probably would, to be a pediatric surgeon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's someone's life.
Well, that's doable.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, that's interesting, for sure, and that's doable, too.
What about you?
Yeah, I don't know. That's I mean, it's mine. So, but it's just different. Like at this point, I've done some things, so I'm trying to think. Like, what would I want to do now? Language pops into my head, like learning another language, something kind of like I'd like to learn how to read original texts in German. Would be a language. There's a lot of things that I admire that were written by Germans. You know, Nietzsche and things like that, you know. It would be interesting to see what it actually was like, and it would take probably that long to actually master it enough to actually understand the nuance and everything of it. So that would be something I would think about. A painting.
Ooh, yeah.
I would love to dedicate that time and see if I could get any good at that. Yeah, I think you would.
No, I'm specifically saying that you would get good at that after a while.
Maybe, yeah. And then
just because you're pretty good at focusing and at locking in. In such words.
Yeah, and I have a pretty big creative side. Like I love doing stuff like that. So
for sure.
And I think I'd probably be pretty mechanical though. I could get good as a mechanic. I don't think I have any natural skill with it.
Like Joey Lynch.
It would be interesting. Yeah, so those are a couple that I would think about doing. I just think it's a cool question because what made me think of it is that in general we think, oh, I'd like to do this, I'd like to do that, but we don't think of it in terms of like, okay, what would I dedicate 5 years to or 10 years to? Because then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, I got to do this for 5 years.
Yeah,
I got to think about this then.
That's why I know that I would go through the grind of medical school and the basics and everything like that.
Yeah,
I know I would do that. I know I would be able to do that, especially if it meant becoming a pediatric surgeon at the end of it. Like, I would do that. Well, and 100%.
You could totally do that, man.
Yeah, and I'm going to.
Well, good for
Mark
you.
my words, one day when I'm like 30-something and we look back on this podcast episode, I'll be like, told you so. And you'll see my graduation certificates or whatever they're called.
You're making big claims here, Irish.
Wall.
Big claims.
No, I'm telling you right now.
You could totally do that.
I'm going to be a pediatric surgeon.
I honestly don't see any reason why you couldn't do that. You 100% could do that. You have all of the necessaries for doing that. And the thing that would stop you from doing it is committing yourself to the grind of 5 or, in this case, 10 or 15 years.
Right.
Yeah.
Which
it's totally doable.
I do that.
And a noble cause it would be.
Because think about it. Yeah. I graduate 18, right?
Earlier if you want.
Yeah, 17, 18, let's say.
Yeah.
Then I go through 10 years of schooling.
Well, you have 4 years for sure for a general degree,
then another
and 4 years for medical
sure.
at least.
Yeah.
And then you have specialty training because you want to be, not only do you want to be a surgeon, which is specialty training and special residency, but then you want to be a pediatric surgeon.
Yeah.
So that's additional on top of that because now they're chucking kids your way.
So let's say 15 years. So that's 10. So that's 27.
Oh, well.
Just wait, I'm doing the math. That's 28 plus 5. So 33. I'll be 33. That's if we're doing it based off of 15 years. Then I'll be 33.
And at 33, you will not yet be a fly old lady.
Yeah, true. Watch the last episode to know.
You'll be a fly pediatric surgeon.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I can't believe you said fly. All right. There you go.
Okay. Good topic, Dad. Kudos. Ew. I did not just say kudos.
Kudos is a good word,
No,
man.
it's not.
It is, actually.
It's
Maybe it's been ruined
really
by your
cringy.
generation
It's
of block
really
knocks,
cringy.
but it's a good word. Kudos. Kudos to you, my good sir. Kudos to you. Kudos is a good word. Why is it a bad word? I don't even want to know why, because I don't want it ruined for me.
No. It's not because of other people. It's just, to me, I've never liked the word.
I think it's a good word. I mean, it's kudos. It means, like, respect.
No, I know what it means. I just don't like the way, like, the spelling of it, and I just don't like it.
Ugh.
The whole word, I just really don't like it.
All right.
You know me and my words.
Oh, I do.
I just don't like it. All right. Next we have Kajang. Would you like to read this one out as well?
No, we're not doing that.
Dad, we're gonna do a podcast episode like that one day.
Fine, maybe, but I'd need to prep for that. And by prep, I mean I probably need to bonk my head against the wall for a while.
Wow, cool. So
All
that's
right.
how you picture me?
No, that's how I picture me. That's the state I'd have to get in to agree to pretend I'm you for a whole episode. There's no pretending I'm you anyhow. You're so specifically you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. So next topic is what would you oh I almost read out the last one we just did. What is a dumb question? So personally, I really don't believe with the saying that there are no dumb questions, because let me tell you right now, yes, there are. There are some really dumb questions. Like, for example, if you're watching a movie and the person on screen is doing a backflip and the person next to you says, I wonder why he's doing a backflip. Or is he doing a backflip? Or something along the lines of that. Now, that's a dumb question. That is a dumb question. Or if you're watching a movie and someone says something that, we haven't found out yet or we just learned, and they're like, what does that mean? Or if they ask something that is specifically
That's a bad
going
example.
on. Okay, sure. But I'm just saying there are some dumb questions.
You just underlined why that expression exists. There's no such thing as a dumb
But
question.
yes, there is.
Well, there isn't really. Like, I get what you're saying. Yes, there are some questions that are incredibly stupid.
Yeah.
But the underlying guts of the expression, I truly believe in it. I think you should ask all of the questions that come into your head. And
Me
yes,
too.
some of them will be like, well, were you not paying attention? Or
No, I know.
were you dropped on your head?
Well, the question isn't should you not ask dumb questions. It's are there dumb questions? Or what is a dumb question?
Okay, so what is a dumb question?
Yeah, what is a dumb question?
Yeah.
When you ask something that's obvious, or when you ask something like dumb. When you ask a dumb question, that's a dumb question.
Give me an example of a dumb question.
If you're with someone and maybe I'm having a conversation with someone. I'm just making this up on the spot.
You certainly are.
And someone's like, I don't know.
No one would be able to tell you're making this up on the spot.
Okay, I'll just use my movie one again.
All right.
If someone's on screen doing something and the person next to you says something like, what are they doing? But they're so clearly backflipping or they're, cooking something. Oh, what are they doing? I don't know, maybe take a little cheeky gander at the screen.
But you're okay, but so they're not
I've been in
asking what are they
multiple
doing in a
scenarios.
larger sense, like what's this scene about? You're saying that they're just so dumb that they're watching the screen and they can't tell what the person's doing.
No, I mean like if someone's cooking and I don't know, there's some other stuff going on and they're like, oh, what's the person in the green doing?
Well, that's what I'm
Well, what
saying.
does it look like
so
they're
this
doing?
person sitting beside you is so limited intellectually that they can't decipher that the person cooking is cooking.
Well, yes, usually if someone asks a dumb question, it might mean that they're a little cookie short from the cookie jar, if you know what I mean.
Cookie short from the cookie jar. Oh, wow. Remember that thing I told you their sandwich doesn't go all the way to the top?
No.
Yeah. Remember that girl whose mom, she used to say those malapropisms? They
Oh,
were
yeah.
awesome.
You told me about that.
Yeah. I always remember that one. Always make me laugh. Yeah. Her sandwich doesn't go all the way to the top. She would mix up her metaphors. That was really funny. I don't know. Yes, there's definitely dumb questions. So
Okay,
what's a dumb question?
asking something that's obvious or a dumb question. I don't really know how to explain it. It's just a dumb question.
I mean, I guess a dumb question is say I'm wearing a hat and somebody comes up to me and we're talking and then they look and they look at my hat and then they say, hey, is that your hat? I would say that's kind of a dumb question. But then there's people that would say, well, they don't know if it's yours or not. Maybe you just borrowed it. Maybe it's somebody else's hat. And it's like,
you know what makes it
right.
a dumb question? Why would you ask that? What kind of person walks up to someone and thinks in their head, oh, I really want to ask him that?
But I'm saying, so you come up with a real dumb question. Because to me, that's pretty dumb. But then you could see where somebody might not, what they might be getting at, the hat one. So what's a really dumb question? I very much try to give people the benefit of the doubt, right? Because I think that it's important to ask questions. But yeah, there's some questions like, really? I mean, you could have a fire going. You could be sitting around a fire and somebody wanders up and says, is that hot? I mean, that'd be a pretty dumb question. But maybe they never saw a fire before.
One time I had a person over at the house. At Mom's. I had someone over and we were in the kitchen and they were kind of like scoping around, looking in the snack cupboard, and they come out and they were like, I wonder if your freezer's cold. They looked me dead in the eye and they said, I wonder if your freezer's cold.
Yeah, that's getting there towards
It was
dumb.
someone in the neighborhood. Like, we weren't close or anything. But
so I would say then that it's not so much there are dumb questions, there are just dumb people.
Yeah.
If a person's not dumb and they ask a question, it may seem dumb, but they're asking because they don't know the answer. So I think in general, I'll try and give them the benefit of the doubt. If a person's really dumb, then yeah, their questions are going to be dumb. Is that your hat? Does that fire, is that fire hot? Is your freezer cold? Yeah.
So there's no dumb questions, only dumb people.
I think so.
Or
I think that's it.
Okay, yeah.
I think that there's dumb people will say dumb things, but anybody who's not like really limited intellectually, if they ask a question, even if it seems to you dumb, they're asking because they don't know the answer.
Yeah.
So you might be like, what? Seriously? But it's like you've never asked one of those questions.
Right.
But then there are people like
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll go.
Are
with that,
you
then.
here? Is like you shake their hand and they look at it and go, is that your hand? Like, those are kind of dumb.
That's what Matt does to me. I'll walk in a room and he'll go, is that Scout? Obviously making a joke. He'll look me dead in the eye and go, is that Scout?
Yeah, he's a good troll.
Yeah.
Actually, that's pretty funny.
Now we've got segments. Mm-hmm. And we have on the spot. So
okay.
Have at it.
You're on the spot? Mm-hmm. What would your dream date look like as far as how you would set it up for the other person? What would you do to make this an unbelievable, unforgettable, unlikely experience?
Okay. So it would be a morning to night kind of thing. It would be like an all day, spend the day together kind of thing.
All right.
Okay. Now this is based off of how I think right now in this moment. For breakfast.
Yes.
For breakfast, we'd go and we'd
It's not time traveling you.
Mm-mm. Exactly. So for breakfast, we'd probably get farmer's wraps from...
Do you pick the person up or do they come to you?
Oh, yeah. So first off, I get ready in the morning and then I stand outside and they come and get me.
How are you getting dressed? Are you wearing...
What am I wearing?
Yeah. Are you trying to put the fake out on or are you...
No, I'm just
You're
wearing...
just being you.
Yeah, I'm just wearing my jeans and a tank top.
All right.
And my jacket. And so, yeah, I get in the car and then we go to the drive-thru at Tim Hortons.
So you're picking the person up?
No, they're picking me up.
They're picking you up?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Then we
But
drive
it's your
through.
date. You're arranging it.
Yeah, but I still want them to pick me up.
So on your date that you're arranging, they've
they're
been
picking
summoned.
me up, yes.
Okay.
Then we're going through the Tim Hortons drive-thru and we're getting farmer's wraps. but we're not getting it with that nasty sausage. We're getting it with the bacon. And then we get a little box of Timbits to share. And then we go to a little like community garden kind of thing, and we bring jars, and then we pick a bunch of different flowers, and then we trade at the end of the day, at the end of when we leave the farmer, the garden.
Does your date know that this is what's going on? You're picking for each other? Mm-hmm. You're telling that?
Yeah.
All right.
And so we switch, and then we go back to the house.
I said tell by the way. I didn't say him.
Yeah. And so then we switch our flowers, and we go back to the house, and we drop them off so we don't have to carry them around.
Whose house?
Mine.
Okay.
And then I make a quick change of clothes, and
costume change.
Because it's lunchtime now, so I put on.
Does your date get a costume change?
Yeah, if they want to.
Did they know about this?
Yes, they can change if they want.
All right.
So I just change into a more sort of lunchy kind of outfit, so a frillier top and a skirt, and then we go to lunch at Blue Farms Cafe, if you know, you know, and we get a smoothie and something else, and then we go back to the house and we change into our nighttime clothes. So I'm just putting my jeans back on and a tank top and my jacket again.
A lot of costume changes on your date.
And it's dinner time at this point, so then we go to the carnival. So now we're going on a bunch of different rides, and then at the end of the day, we're going to go to the movie theater and we're going to watch a horror movie. And then I'm going to be driven back to the house. That's my dream date.
That is your dream date?
I don't want to do anything fancy because that's...
Yes, that's not your dream date.
Yeah. I just want to have a nice, fun day where we can do things where we can get to know each other, but also so that we're not...
So this is a first date kind of a thing? Or is this a second or third date?
Anything. It's just
I guess that's a question,
date.
right? Because it'd be different. First date would be different than third date, or it would be different than you've been together for 10 years date.
It'd be my first date, because this is kind of things that you would do on the first date, you know, lunch together, garden, that kind of stuff. But yeah, and then a movie and then carnival. So that's my dream date.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right. There you go.
How about you?
No, I don't know.
That's why I didn't ask.
You're on the spot, man.
Okay.
I guess I could take a run at it.
Okay.
What would I want to do on a date? It would probably end up being pretty boring. Because I would really like to just go somewhere cool and hang out.
Mm-hmm.
You know what would be cool? You know what would be a cool place to go? You know that that gardens outside of Vallarta, the
botanical gardens?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, that'd be fun.
I
Maybe
think
even
that
pack
would
a
be
bathing suit and
that
go on
would
the
work
river.
for me. Yeah, because you can you pack a little bit of food, you go on a hike through the woods there, you see everything, you go down to that little beachy area where you can sit in that clear water, and that's a really peaceful place, man.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
You know, and seeing all of the different fauna, flora, and that would be cool. Yeah. And then that restaurant even is nice. I think that would be nice. Great place, lots of benches, great place to sit and chat.
For sure.
Yeah, that would work for me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
I could spend a few hours there, then maybe come back and sit in the beach, toes in the sand.
Ew, dogs.
It'd be
dogs out and
get
everything.
The dogs out. Yeah, exactly.
Wow, you really like
that would
her,
be
don't
it
you?
for me. Like a nice vibey places to sit and chat. And then, and all of those places have excellent exit strategies if you got to bail.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
So, I would think a first date needs to have exit strategies.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Good job.
Yeah.
Those are good ones. Okay. Segundo. Now we're gonna go on to hear me out. So
Hear
go
me
ahead.
Oot in a boot.
This is your time to shine.
We have this set up weird.
First time for everything, right?
Yeah. Oh, we have this weirdly set up, don't we? There, where one day both of us we're stuck with the. Oh no, I guess not, because the on the spot's the other person. Yeah. All right, I'm just stalling. Hear me out. My hear me out is going to be because we're here and we're watching more conventional TV than we normally will. Like we don't watch that much TV, and when we do, it's using our system. So we manage to avoid, for the most part, commercials. Yeah. And seeing commercials just make me want to, end it all. And the commercials that especially bug me are the drug commercials, the ones where they're trying to get people to. I'm not even sure what the purpose is, because like if you have symptoms, you go to your doctor and your doctor says, oh, you have this, you need to take this for this, and you're like, all right, dude. Maybe you go online and you get a second opinion from Dr. Google, or you go to another real doctor or
ask Biggle,
and you ask Biggle, and you get the meds you need, right?
Yeah.
So the commercials, I'm not sure they're aimed at who. Like you're sitting there on your couch, you're watching a movie, and all of a sudden somebody comes on and they're like, "Oh, do you have high blood pressure? You should get this." And then the best part is at the end of them when they run through that little thing where they say, "But if you have," and then they name like 8,000 things that don't take this, or else they'll tell you, and the side effects could be. And then if you're listening, it's like, oh my god,
tumors in your
blood
brain,
in your urine, your head might explode.
Yeah.
And those commercials, man,
possible arm enlargements,
they bug me. Those commercials should not exist.
My favorite are the Ozempic commercials. Yeah. Because I find them so funny. Like, they're just.
Like, I get
I love joking about Ozempic with people.
I know what it's for. But I mean, again, if you're worried about your weight, right? Because that's not what they were originally for, but that's what they've become used for now, mostly, is for people who are overweight, right? So if you're worried about your weight to the extent that you're thinking about taking medication, are you not going to your doctor first? And your doctor will say, hey, listen, Ozempic can help, but here are the side effects. Here, it's a lifelong thing. You're going to need them forever. The drugs are expensive unless you have coverage. Like, there's a whole bunch of things the commercials don't tell you.
Yeah.
Like for a drug like that, for example. So what is it you're trying to sell, man? You're just trying to get people to buy things and
half the time it's
which
things
I know
you don't
that's
need.
all commercials are, is trying to get people to buy things, but man, those drug commercials, I just find they're so greasy.
It's just that half the time it's stuff you don't need, and they're just trying to. And a lot of the times they're just trying to like. They kind of make you feel bad about yourself. They point out insecurities in like.
In general, is that not all they're always doing, right? Like there's gambling ones, there's banking ones. It's always about money, or trying to.
Those are the ones that make my blood boil.
Yeah, I know for sure. Me too. I actually thought about using those, but the drug ones bug me more because the gambling ones though are bad. Like getting famous athletes or famous celebrities to encourage you to just blow your money. Because that's all that kind of gambling is. It's just a tax on the stupid. It's just getting you to... Oh, that's not fair to say. I take that back. That's not fair. That's lotteries. No, neither of those. I shouldn't say that. That's not fair to say but they're just... They're throwing your money away at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And you're encouraged to do it. Like, because you might hit the jackpot. You might win. And so people will blow their whole paychecks on lotteries, or they'll blow their whole paychecks on gambling because maybe you'll win this time. It's really bad, man. It's like a disease. Instead of treating it, you're encouraging it.
I'm glad to say that the only gambling I've ever done is a scratch card that was someone else's that they let me scratch off.
Did you win?
I think we won like $3, $2.
Yeah, but did the card cost $5?
Yeah.
Spend $5 to win $3.
Yeah.
Whee! Yeah, no,
it's
the whole thing's very scammy.
$1 million jackpot, and it's like there's probably no cards that you can win $1 million off of. It's just to get you to buy them.
Well, and even if there is one, right, the money works out for the house always. So if you have a 1 in a million chance of winning the $1 million, that's like almost no chance at all.
Yeah, because say there's $1 million, there's a million cards, and only one of them you can win $1 million.
How it is. Yeah.
The person that made those cards or is giving out those cards is making $1 million because say those cards are $1.
Yeah, but they're not. They're $5. Yeah. So they're making, like, the money always works out for the house. Mm-hmm. So even when you hear those lotteries where,
it's probably like $5 million.
Well, even when you hear the ones where somebody wins $100 million, $200 million, some of these get outrageously high. Mm-hmm. That's because there's been $1 billion gone into the lottery corporation. Like
Yeah.
they're not losing money, and then there's $1 billion tickets been sold, and so the math always works out for the house, and so. That's why they make sure to show you the person holding their big $1 billion, fake check, so that somebody won, and so that makes you think, damn,
that could be
somebody
me.
win. That could be me. Exactly. Well, it's like, whoa, yes, it could be, but they could just as well show you a picture of somebody who got smooshed by a meteorite and only their feet are sticking out like a cartoon, and you'd be like, oh, that could be me.
'cause
Well,
it's the same
it
odds.
could, but it's not likely.
It's like there's an episode of Superstore, and Garrett is sitting behind the counter and he's giving out the cards because they're having this big thing where you have a chance to win. I think it's like $6 million or something. Mm-hmm. And so everyone's entering their numbers because there's one lucky number. And so if you guess the correct number, then you win the money.
Yeah.
And so people are walking up to him and they're like, hey, I want to buy number 6 and number 12. And he's like, just trolling people. He's like, what is that not the right number? And he's like, well, if you do number 6, you'll probably lose. But if you do number 12, you'll also probably lose. Because it's like the chances of you getting the right number are like 1 in what? So
I mean, it's just almost beyond imagining how impossible it is.
yeah.
But that's what you're encouraged to believe, right? And it's not any different from any of the other commercials on. In general, my hear me out is commercials, really, I guess.
Yeah.
But even the other ones, like, oh, if you have this car, man, then chicks will love you.
Yeah.
If you buy this makeup, all the dudes will go mental. Whatever it is,
Yeah.
Like, oh, have you not registered for this? Well, you better go see your banker.
Yeah.
It's always trying to sell you something you don't need, or and doing it with fear, usually trying to make you afraid, like you need this. Yeah, those commercials though, man, where they end up telling you how heinous the thing is. If you take this, make sure you don't have.
It's like a whole glaze of it glazes and mogs the freaking medicine, and then at the end it's like, if you take this, you might have night terrors. You might wake up in sweat, and you might possibly never see colors again. I find it so funny because it's like, and they put it in tiny little letters in the quietest voice ever at the end.
Oh, for sure. You're not meant to register it. No. The worst were America still has a lot of this ambulance chaser ads, they're called, and it's ads where lawyers will advertise, have you been in an accident lately? Has anybody in your family been in an accident? Well, call me. And they're called ambulance chasers because they're just trying to get people to get lawsuits going. Mm-hmm. And those commercials that's just the height of greasiness. Yeah. But they must work. There's probably people sitting there going, oh man, maybe I could score if that time that the guy bumped me on my bike, I bet there's money in that.
In another episode of Superstore, Bo, one of the people's boyfriends, shows up and he's like, yo, what's up? I have $5,000. And Amy is like, how did you get $5,000? And the girl explains to her that he got hit by a car in like 4th grade, and they decided to sue the person. Yeah. And so now he has a wad of cash.
I mean, it's funny because it's true, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. I love you.
That's where you go there.
Yep. Wish me luck on babysitting, Dad. Tomorrow. Well, it's not going to be tomorrow for everyone.
First of all, and most importantly, I love you too. And you don't need luck, man. You're going to be spectacular. You're a born babysitter.
I kind of am.
Yeah, I mean,
I love children.
I would happily leave my kids with you if I had kids to leave with you. But I don't. I only have you and your brother.
You can leave me with Maddish.
I can't though, really, can I? The two of you, it's like Lord of the Flies if you don't get monitored on occasion.
That's just not even close to being true.
Well, it kind of is, though.
Whatever.
All right. I love you very much, and you will have a very good time, and so will the child that you are being placed in charge of.
I believe so. Mm-hmm. I love you.
Mm-hmm. I love you. Next time.
James, you owe me a Coke.
Punch buggy.
What?
That's a punch buggy.
No, I know what a punch buggy is, but
Well,
wrong circumstance.
No, it's not. Punch buggies for jinx too.
No, punch buggy is if you see a
No, but you
Volkswagen Beetle.
You can modify it for when you do a jinx.
Oh my god.
All right.
Okay, I love you.
I love you.
Next time.
Next time.
Goodbye.